My parents pawned my $4,000 custom PC to buy my mom a handbag. Hey Reddit, so I'm Ethan, 22, and I'm pretty sure my parents hate me. Okay, maybe hate is a strong word, but they definitely favor my mom hard. She's always been the golden child, getting praised for everything while my accomplishments are basically ignored. My dad just goes along with it, wants to keep the peace or whatever. I'm a software developer, freelance, and gaming PC building is my passion. It's also how I make a good chunk of my income. I work hard, pay my own way, and generally try to be a good son. But something happened that makes me question everything. I'm about to tell you guys something that's going to make your blood boil. You won't believe what they did. I got back from a tech conference, super hyped about some new software I was going to try out, and walked into my room, and my PC was gone. Like poof, vanished. My custom-built, meticulously planned $4,000 beast of a machine. I'm talking top-of-the-line everything. Years of saving and upgrading. It wasn't just a gaming rig, it was my livelihood. My stomach dropped. I felt this wave of nausea, like the room was spinning. I ran downstairs, heart pounding, and asked my parents where the hell my computer was. They were just sitting there, chilling in the living room. My mom was casually admiring a new purse, a really expensive-looking one. Oh, we sold it, my mom said like it was no big deal. We got $1,200 for it. $1,200, I almost choked. You sold it, for $1,200. Are you kidding me? Then they dropped the bomb. They sold my PC to buy my mom a handbag, a purse, a freaking designer bag that was apparently on sale for $1,200. They actually had the nerve to tell me it was a good deal. I felt this cold dread creep over me. My hands were shaking. I tried to explain to them calmly how much that PC meant to me, how much money I'd put into it, that I needed it for work. But they just brushed me off, said I was being selfish. That family comes first. My dad just sat there nodding along, like my livelihood, my passion, my property meant nothing. Less than a handbag, I couldn't even speak. I just stared at them, feeling this crushing weight of betrayal. It wasn't about the money, not entirely. It was the principle, the complete disregard for my feelings. The casual cruelty of it all. Like I was some kind of ATM, not their son. It was like they'd punched me in the gut. I just walked away. Went back to my room and just sat there numb. I felt violated, like they'd stolen a part of me. I tried to talk to them again later that night. I thought maybe they'd had time to process, to realize how messed up what they did was. I was wrong, so wrong. I walked into the living room, and there they were, my mom still fawning over her stupid purse. We need to talk, I said, trying to keep my voice even. About the PC. My mom actually rolled her eyes. Rolled her, EYES. Ethan, we've already talked about this, it's over. It's not over, I said, my voice starting to rise. You sold my property without my permission, that's not okay. Oh, here we go again, she sighed dramatically, clutching her precious purse. You're being so dramatic, it's just a computer. Just a computer, I saw red. Just a computer, it's how I make a living, it cost me $4,000. My dad finally chimed in, but not in the way I hoped. Ethan, your mother really wanted that purse, it was a good deal, you need to learn to be less materialistic. Less materialistic. They sold my PC for a designer purse. The hypocrisy was suffocating me. I could feel my hands shaking again. Materialistic. You're calling me materialistic after you pawned my computer to buy a luxury handbag? I yelled. I couldn't help it, it just burst out of me. Don't you raise your voice at me, young man, my dad shouted back. We're your parents, we know what's best for you. Best for me, or best for mom and her purse collection, I retorted. God, I hated how petty I sounded, but I couldn't stop. I felt this burning rage in my chest. My mom started crying. Actual tears. You're so ungrateful, she sobbed. After all we've done for you. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a normal family argument, this was toxic. They were twisting everything, making me feel like the bad guy for being upset that they stole from me, gaslighting me, manipulating me, using guilt and tears to shut me down. I just shut down. I couldn't even look at them. I felt this wave of nausea again, like I was going to be sick. I turned and walked away, feeling completely defeated and disgusted. That's when I knew. This wasn't just favoritism, this was something worse. A week later, and things have gone from bad to worse. The silent treatment is in full swing. They're completely ignoring me, like I'm some kind of ghost haunting the house. I'm eating alone, working on my ancient laptop, which can barely handle basic coding, let alone the resource-intensive stuff I need for my projects, and feeling like I'm losing my mind. Deadlines are whooshing past, and I'm barely keeping my head above water. I'm seriously starting to stress about losing clients. This whole thing is impacting my income, my reputation, everything. But that's not even the worst part. Oh no, they decided to escalate things to a whole new level of messed up. They've weaponized the family. And why family? My aunt called me yesterday. Aunt Carol, my mom's sister. She's usually pretty cool, so I was actually relieved to hear from someone. I thought maybe she'd be a voice of reason. Wrong. She launched into this whole tirade about how disappointed she was in me. How could I be so selfish and ungrateful to my parents? How dare I cause them so much stress after everything they've done for me? Apparently my mom called her, crying and playing the victim, spinning some sob story about how I was this horrible, entitled child who was demanding money from them. Ethan, honey, Aunt Carol said, her voice dripping with condescension, family is everything. You need to apologize to your mother, she's very upset. Apologize? For what? For being upset that they sold MY property. I snapped. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It's just a computer, Ethan, she said, echoing my parents' words. Your mother needed a new bag, can't you just let it go? Let it go? Are you kidding me? I hung up, I just couldn't. The manipulation, the gaslighting, it was spreading like a virus. They were poisoning everyone against me, making me the villain in their twisted narrative. Then this morning my grandma called. Grandma Rose. She's 80 years old and practically worships the ground my mom walks on. She started in on me too, saying I was being disrespectful, that I should be ashamed of myself. She actually told me I needed to learn my place. My place? What is this, the 1950s? I'm starting to feel like I'm in some kind of bizarre alternate reality, like I'm the crazy one. And that's what scares me the most. I'm starting to question my own sanity. I'm losing sleep, I'm constantly on edge, and I feel this knot of anxiety in my stomach that just won't go away. I can't focus on work, I can't relax, I can barely function. This isn't just about the PC anymore. This is about control. About them trying to silence me, to invalidate my feelings, to make me feel small and insignificant. And I'm done. I am done. I need to take action. I need to get out of this toxic environment. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I can't stay here. I can't. This isn't a family. This is a war zone, and I'm not going down without a fight. I finally broke down and told Sarah everything. We met up for coffee after the conference and I was a mess. I could barely hold back the tears. It's just been so much, I stammered, fiddling with my coffee cup. I don't even know where to start. Hey, it's okay, Sarah said, her voice gentle. Just take your time. So I spilled it all. The PC, the purse, the gaslighting, the silent treatment, the aunts and grandmas piling on. The whole twisted saga. I was hesitant at first, ashamed to admit how badly my own family was treating me, but Sarah just listened patiently, her expression growing more and more incredulous. By the time I finished, her jaw was practically on the floor. Ethan, she said, her voice filled with disbelief, that's insane. They sold your computer, a $4,000 computer, to buy a purse. I know, right? I exclaimed, finally feeling a flicker of validation. It's like they're living in a different reality. This isn't about a purse, Ethan, Sarah said, her voice serious. This is about control. They're trying to control you, to manipulate you, to make you feel like you don't matter. And that's not okay. Hearing those words, something inside me clicked. It was like a light bulb went off in my head. She was right. It wasn't about the damn purse. It was about their constant need to diminish me, to make me feel small and insignificant, to remind me of my place. They've been doing this for years, I realized, the words tumbling out of me. Always putting my mom on a pedestal, minimizing my achievements, making me feel like I'm not good enough. And you know what? Sarah said, leaning forward, her eyes blazing. That's emotional abuse. Emotional abuse. The words hung in the air, heavy and charged. I'd never thought of it that way before. I'd always just internalized their behavior, blamed myself for being too sensitive, too demanding. But Sarah's words, they reframed everything. They gave me permission to be angry, to be hurt, to recognize that what I was experiencing was wrong. They also stole from you, Ethan, she continued, her voice firm. That computer was your property. They had no right to sell it without your consent. That's actually illegal. Illegal. Another word that resonated deep within me. I hadn't even considered the legal implications. I was so caught up in the emotional turmoil that I hadn't thought about the fact that they had actually broken the law. You need to stand up for yourself, Ethan, Sarah said, her hand on my arm. You deserve to be treated with respect. You deserve to have your voice heard. You are not overreacting. You are not being selfish. You are being gaslit. That conversation, it was a turning point. It was like I finally saw my situation clearly, without the fog of self-doubt and guilt. I felt this surge of anger, but also a sense of empowerment. Sarah's words gave me the strength I needed to fight back, to reclaim my voice, my worth, my sanity. I wasn't going to let them walk all over me anymore. I was done being their doormat. I was finally ready to stand up for myself, even if it meant going against my own family. I was ready for war. I was in my room, trying to salvage some work on my ancient laptop when I heard my mom's voice, loud and clear, coming from the living room. "Robert, did you see that text from Ethan? He's still going on about that stupid computer. Honestly, I don't know what his problem is. He needs to get over it." My blood ran cold. I crept closer to the door, my heart pounding in my chest. "I know, Delia," my dad said, his voice low. "He's being ridiculous. It's just a computer. He'll get over it eventually." "Just a computer," my mom scoffed. "It's like he values that hunk of metal more than his own family." Then came the words that shattered everything. "Remember, we agreed months ago that we'd sell it when he was away at that conference. He'd be too busy to notice right away, and by the time he did, he'd probably just let it go. Months ago, they planned this. They knew." My entire body went numb. It was like a physical blow. I stumbled back, my hand flying to my mouth to stifle a sob. All this time, I'd been trying to reason with them, to make them understand, to appeal to their sense of family. And they had planned this. They had deliberately betrayed me. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they didn't care. They never cared. The world tilted on its axis. The guilt, the self-doubt, the desperate hope for reconciliation, it all evaporated in an instant. I felt this raw, visceral rage coursing through my veins. It was like a fire ignited in my gut, burning away all the confusion and hurt. This wasn't just about a computer anymore. This was about years of being dismissed, ignored, and manipulated, years of being treated like I was nothing. I felt a strange calm wash over me, a cold, hard clarity. This was it, the last straw, the final betrayal. There was no going back, no more trying to reason with them, no more hoping for an apology, no more playing the role of the good son. I knew with absolute certainty what I needed to do. I needed to fight. I needed to protect myself, I needed to get justice, and I was going to do it no matter the cost. This wasn't about winning their love or approval anymore. This was about reclaiming my self-respect. This was about survival. I was done being a victim. I was taking back my power. I was going to burn it all down. Okay, Reddit, buckle up. This is how I'm prepping for war. After that bombshell text message, I knew I couldn't just yell and scream. I needed a plan. A cold, calculated, meticulously crafted strategy. I was going full John Wick. First, I gathered everything. I printed out my bank statements showing the purchase of the PC components, the receipts from the stores, and screenshots of the text messages. Ironclad proof. I wasn't leaving anything to chance. This was going to be a trial by combat, and I needed all the ammunition I could get. Then I did my research. I looked up the laws regarding selling someone else's property without their consent. Turns out my parents messed with the wrong software developer. I know my rights. I even consulted with a lawyer just to be absolutely sure. The lawyer confirmed what I already suspected. I had a strong case. Checkmate. Next, I reached out to Sarah. She's been my rock through this whole mess. I told her about the text messages, about my plan. She was all in. "You got this, Ethan," she said. "Don't let them intimidate you. I'm here for you every step of the way." Having her support means the world. It's like having a battle buddy in this insane war. I decided I'm demanding the full value of the PC, $4,000, not a penny less. And I'm making it clear I'm prepared to take legal action if they refuse. I drafted a concise, point-by-point email outlining my demands and the evidence I have against them. Cold, hard, facts. I'm not playing games anymore. This isn't a negotiation, it's an ultimatum. Mentally and emotionally, I'm preparing for the worst. I know this is going to be brutal. They're going to try to guilt-trip me, gaslight me, play the victim. I'm steeling myself for the inevitable emotional onslaught. I'm visualizing the confrontation, practicing my responses, preparing for every possible scenario. I'm meditating, focusing on staying calm and centered. I'm turning my anger into fuel, into resolve. I know what I'm risking, my relationship with my parents. But honestly, after what they've done, what relationship is even left? They've shown me who they really are. They've shown me they value a handbag more than their own son. And I'm finally okay with that because I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing my self-respect. I'm choosing my future. I'm terrified, yes, but I'm also exhilarated, like I'm finally breaking free from their suffocating grip. I'm taking back my power. I'm taking control of my life. And I'm not backing down, not a chance. Wish me luck, Reddit. The reckoning is coming. And it's going to be epic. It was dinner time. The aroma of roast chicken, usually a comfort, felt thick and suffocating. My parents were already at the table, my mom, of course, sporting the damn handbag. I walked in, my printed documents, neatly organized in a folder, clutched in my hand. The air crackled with unspoken tension. Ethan, my dad started, his voice strained. We need to talk. I agree, I said, my voice calm, steady. I placed the folder on the table, the thud echoing in the sudden silence. I believe this will facilitate our conversation. My mom glanced at the folder, then at me, a flicker of unease in her eyes. What is that? Evidence, I said, meeting her gaze directly. Evidence of your theft. The word hung in the air, heavy and accusatory. My mom's eyes widened. Theft, don't be ridiculous. Selling my property without my consent. That's theft, Mom, and I have the proof. I opened the folder, laying out the bank statements, receipts, and finally the screenshots of their text messages. Including this little gem where you planned the whole thing months in advance. My dad's face paled. My mom gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Where did you get that? She stammered. Irrelevant, I said, my voice cold. What is relevant is that you stole from me a $4,000 computer to buy a handbag. I emphasized the last word, letting the absurdity of it hang in the air. Ethan, it wasn't like that, my mom started, her voice trembling. We needed the money, for a purse, I finished flatly. Don't insult my intelligence. I'm demanding $4,000, the full value of the PC, and I'm prepared to take legal action if I don't get it. The blood drained from my mom's face. She looked at my dad, her eyes pleading. He cleared his throat, his voice weak. Ethan, son, we're family. Family, I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. Is that what we are? Because it doesn't feel like it. You've treated me like an ATM, not a son. You've dismissed my feelings, ignored my accomplishments, and now you've stolen from me. So spare me the family lecture. This was it, the turning point. The power dynamic shifted. I saw fear in their eyes, real fear. For the first time, they were on the defensive. You think this is a game? I roared, slamming my hand on the table. The dishes rattled, my mom flinched. You think you can just walk all over me and I'll just take it? I am done being your doormat. My mom burst into tears, the crocodile tears I'd seen so many times before. You're being so cruel, she sobbed. After all we've done for you. Done for me? I scoffed. You mean like selling my livelihood to buy a luxury item? Like gaslighting me and turning my entire family against me? That's what you've done for me. My dad, finally finding his voice, sputtered, We're your parents, Ethan, you have to respect us. Respect is earned, I stated, my voice calm again, the eye of the storm. And you haven't earned a shred of it. They stared at me speechless, their faces a mixture of shock and panic. The mask of parental authority had crumbled. They finally saw me, not the compliant, obedient son they thought they could control, but someone who was finally standing up for himself. Someone they could no longer manipulate. You have 24 hours, I said, picking up the folder. $4,000. Or I take this to the police and a lawyer. The choice is yours. I walked out, leaving them sitting there amidst the wreckage of their own making. The roast chicken sat untouched. The handbag, once a symbol of their disregard, now seemed to mock them. And me, I felt a sense of liberation I'd never experienced before. The war wasn't over, but I had won the first battle. And it felt glorious. It's been 3 months since the Great PC Heist, as I've come to call it. The immediate aftermath was frosty, to say the least. They coughed up the $4,000, but the atmosphere in the house was toxic. My mom barely spoke to me, and when she did, it was with this icy resentment. My dad tried to play the peacemaker, but the damage was done. Irreparable. I knew I couldn't stay there. Not anymore, so I found an apartment and moved out. Packed my bags, loaded up my newly rebuilt, even better PC and left. I sent them a text letting them know I was gone and that I wouldn't be contacting them until they acknowledged the disrespect they'd shown me. Haven't heard a peep since. It's been weirdly liberating. Living on my own, setting my own rules, not having to walk on eggshells around them constantly. I'm focusing on my work, my passions, myself. My productivity has skyrocketed. I've landed some huge clients, and I'm actually happy. I've also reconnected with some old friends and built a stronger support network. Sarah's been amazing, a true friend through it all. No regrets. Of course, there are still challenges. The occasional pangs of guilt, the what-ifs, the wondering if I made the right decision. The family drama continues to ripple outward. My aunt still gives me the cold shoulder. Grandma Rose sent me a guilt-tripping birthday card. But honestly, I'm learning to tune it out. Their opinions don't define me anymore. This whole experience has been a brutal but necessary lesson. I've learned to set boundaries. I've learned to prioritize my own well-being. I've learned THAT family isn't always blood. And most importantly, I've learned to value myself. It's still a journey, and I know there will be more bumps in the road. But I'm stronger now, more resilient, more me. I'm finally free. So, Reddit, what do you think? Have you ever had to cut ties with family? How did you handle it? Any advice for navigating this new chapter of my life? Let me know. I could use some wisdom from the internet hive mind.